I want people to come and learn about Gracious Grounds so they can feel blessed.
Right. Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm hogging all of the blessing by being able to like rub shoulders with these amazing people.
Hi, this is Megan Heritage, and we are here with another episode of the Positivity and Practice podcast. And today we have Matt with us. He's going to talk a little bit about himself, and we're going to talk all things Gracious Grounds. Hi, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay. So I want to know, what is your actual title?
Executive Director.
Okay.
Yep.
And you've been in place at Gracious Grounds for?
Full, I think 4 months, 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
new.
before that, still nonprofit though, right?
Yep. Here in Grand Haven, Love in Action.
Love in Action.
Yeah. I was there for, I think, 8 years.
And what was your position there?
Long title at the end. It was Senior Director of Program Development and Housing. So I oversaw the housing for Love in Action and then dabbled in other stuff, whatever they wanted me to do. It was fun. I love them.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, affordable housing is an incredible need in everywhere at this point. I won't even say Northwest Ottawa County anymore because it's Ottawa County, Muskegon County. We're seeing it every place. So thank you for your work there.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I've been in housing, that type of work since 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is this what you went to school for?
No. So I went to school late in life for organizational management based off of what I was doing already.
Okay.
But I got into it before going into college. So yeah, I did it because of kind of my background, where I grew up. I grew up in Grand Rapids, lower income, moved around a lot. Parents lost a lot of homes, renting, that type of stuff. So all my friends and I, we kind of grew up in that atmosphere. So near and dear to my heart. Once I got to a position where I could, help with that, then it just made sense to me.
What part of GR?
All over. So mainly, I started on the west side. West side is the best side.
West side. You do this.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And then we moved over. Yeah, I was on the northeast side, southeast side. We moved quite a bit. I think I went to, I don't know how many elementaries and middle schools. I think around 10.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we moved quite a bit.
Where'd you graduate from?
Kennewick Hills.
Okay.
Yeah, so it ended up in Marne.
Wow.
Yeah, Marne, Michigan. Yeah.
Just wherever there was a spot, that's where we land?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that though, because I think that gives you sympathy and empathy and compassion, and you actually understand what it feels like to be displaced.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I find that not everybody knows what Gracious Grounds is, which is wild to me. But I guess before I was invited to my first benefit dinner, it was actually Chris and Kelly Werner who invited me to be a guest at their table, and I ugly cried into my linen napkin. I think my husband actually leaned over and was like, "Those are linen." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'll just buy this one, I guess." Tell us what Gracious Grounds does.
Yeah. So Gracious Grounds is a nonprofit that helps individuals with intellectual disabilities live independently. So it's independent living with a little bit of soft assistance. So for a lot of our individuals who live with us, they probably would live with mom and dad or some other caretaker for the majority of their lives. Yet they find that when they move in with us and with our support system, they're able to really reach their, full potential and their dreams and live independently. And you talk about ugly crying. Like, I ugly cry all the time. It's awesome.
And that was the thing that was so remarkable to me was, as people, you've always, every ED there that I've seen has done such a beautiful job in allowing your clients to speak for themselves. And it's interesting to me because the Latin derivative of the word client is in the care of. That's what it actually means. And so as people started to talk about the things that they thought were not possible, that were now possible because of the environment that Gracious Grounds has created, that was the part where I thought there would be so many people who weren't flourishing, weren't living to their highest capability, had this space not been created, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, so I have a son with special needs.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll turn 18 in June.
Okay.
And I've been through love. I've watched Gracious Grounds grow since their beginning. In fact, the first building on Dispelder was my old office.
Oh,
So like I had to move out and they moved
jeez.
in. So we've been together. I've watched them grow the entire time. And coming here, I've been a development person my whole life.
Right.
And helping individuals reach their full potential is like my life
Yeah.
story. Coming here and watching what Gracious Ground has done for their residents and how they support them to reach their potential has given me a whole new perspective for my own son.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And I thought I was a development person already.
Right.
And then I realized I had limiting beliefs even for my son, who I thought is completely amazing. But now what I've seen what can happen for him, like it just opened up a whole new.
So will he be a client at some point?
If he chooses to be.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he could do it for
That's so
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So last year, I'm helping a little bit in the real estate space with you guys and have been for a couple of years now, in creating this new 77 unit development. But I had a client who was talking to me about their daughter who has a developmental delay and them not feeling, really safe with her, and people taking advantage of her essentially was the
Mm-hmm.
biggest issue. And as they were moving in this direction and we were looking at houses, I was able to say, well, have you ever heard about this? And so they're now signed up on your waiting list or whatever for their daughter to be a part of all of that. But my client looked at me and said, this is life changing
Mm-hmm.
after talking with Rose, who works with you and all of that. And it was such an interesting, like, God moment for me because the house that they actually called me on was totally the wrong house. They want to be in their forever house. And the primary bedroom was upstairs. And eventually it's going to have to get sold. So we ended up building them a house with Moran Properties, which is great. And they ended up with a space for their daughter that's super nearby, but not so close that, she doesn't feel like she has. So that getting the word out there about it, I think is so incredibly important so that people know that it doesn't have to be you living with your mom and dad
Mm-hmm.
forever, right?
Yeah. I mean, and to the point where when I watch our residents, I'm seeing very little difference between my life and theirs.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we all have our different struggles and things that we need assistance with. But I mean, day to day, grocery shopping, coming home, managing the household, managing the roommate relationship sometimes, volunteering in the community, holding down the job, all of the stuff
Mhm.
that is part of my life is part of their life. And I almost felt a little bit ashamed to think that it would be different. Here I am. I mean,
You're a dad.
yeah,
Yeah, right?
yeah. And then to realize that I was so limited in my belief system until I came here. I was a little bit like a shocker for me.
Yeah.
But
Well, and maybe you can't see the picture because you're in the frame, kind of space too. Like you're just dealing with the individual you love the most in the world that is your child, but the isolation that I feel like some people would feel when they don't have a collaborative community of like-minded. That's what I see when I'm there. And then just the gratitude for the jobs, right? Like the bagger at Lapbanks that we all know. And just having such a sense of I'm doing something that's really valuable for somebody and I have a job and that's what made me cry.
Mhm.
Like, what problem do I have?
Exactly.
In that, oof, right? That part where you're like, I've got it so twisted on thinking about what I don't have instead of everything that I do have. And then thinking about what I do have and how I can give back to people who really don't have a way to change their circumstances outside of this,
Yeah.
space that they're in right now. So I know that you have a benefit coming up May 1,
May
right?
1. Yep.
Okay, so how do people learn more about how to come into the room and be a part of supporting Gracious Grounds?
Yeah, the event is a great way to learn about
I
us.
love it so
It
much.
is. And so graciousgrounds.org, if you go on there, click on the top banner, you can, sign up and get a ticket for the gala. That night, we are going to really focus on the resident and highlighting what they're doing, how they're living in this space, and what's possible for them now. The focus is really all residents during that time, which I think every gala it's like that. But
Sure.
and so this is a great way to, if you've never heard of us, come and see our residents and hear about them. Obviously, this is a fundraiser for us too.
Yes.
One of the reasons why a lot of people don't know of Gracious Grounds is because we have been up to this point self-sustaining through the rental income that we have.
Right.
But we do have one fundraiser, and this is it every year, and it's very crucial for us. But that's why people haven't heard about us so much, because we're not out there all the time asking
Right.
and needing. But the need is actually there. We're growing. We talked about, you said this new Ability Way, this new project.
Ability Way.
Yeah.
I love it.
77 units. One of the questions I had coming on as the executive director was like, okay, is the need that big? And right when I started, I was asked to be on a housing panel down in Holland area. And 100 families showed up who are looking for housing for their person. And so, yes, the need is huge, and we're realizing that and walking in with faith, like, okay, we're going to do this. So the need for more people to hear about us and to catch the vision and be a part of us and partner with us has grown even more now. So we need more people to come to this and hear about us.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to cough ball. Don't yell at me. You'll have to cut this out before I die. So, where would we be going for this amazing gala?
Yep, Spring Lake Country Club.
Okay.
Yeah. So 5:30 till 8:30, right around there.
Okay.
We typically did a auction in the past.
Yep.
No auction this year. We just
Okay.
want everybody to focus on hearing about these amazing stories of these amazing people, because I think that's you're going to walk away so blessed. I mean, that is truly, I feel like I'm the most blessed person in Grand Haven.
Yeah.
Because of what I get to do.
Well, I'm a little bummed out because it's a night where my kids have either a lacrosse game or lacrosse practice. So I'll be in the room, but I would love to bring my children because it's kind of that immersiveness that you get. I think is just a complete shift in your day to day, right? And just seeing it's really the stories, like the stories of how, I was living at home with my mom and dad, and then now I have my own room and we do these things like as a community together, and I have my own job and I have this and I have that, and I just absolutely love the amount of independence that you're providing. There's no silent auction, but there is another cool way to give in components, right? At Ability Way, at the new building with the 77 units and all of that.
Definitely, yeah. So we have different naming opportunities, and we're also doing a small fundraising over the next year or so of about $1 million to raise needed income for different amenities. So here's one thing I'd like to clear up.
Yeah.
A lot of people have seen this project in the newspaper.
And they think you won the lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
No, you didn't.
No. So it's actually a mortgage.
Yeah.
It's not, we didn't just get free money. So we're paying all of that back, and it's a brick and mortar that goes into the building. So building this building, but there's different amenities that we want to provide for our residents there, like bike racks and, benches.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. And there's a gazebo and a patio, a trail system that we're going to put in there so people can walk through that area. It's a beautiful piece of property. But all of those things we have to fundraise for. And also the need is growing. So like we're going to have to increase our staffing because we're taking on almost double the size of what we have now. So this is all will be highlighted at the
How
gala.
many units do you have right now?
Yeah. So
Doors, I guess. How do we call it?
50.
Okay.
Yep.
And then this will be another 77 is what we're
Yeah.
hoping for, right? There's a lot of land planning and all kinds of things that have went into this that Matt and I are not going to talk about today. A lot of hoops to jump through and municipal compliances and all kinds of interesting things that I felt really grateful to be able to put, my development hat on and my real estate hat on to help inside of that space that we'll get through and it'll be great. But at the end of that, we're really going to need the community to show up to help folks get in and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So when people are paying rent, right?
Correct.
Everyone pays rent?
Everybody pays rent.
Okay.
Yep.
And then is it like so what is an example maybe of rent for a one bedroom? These 77 are all going to be single units, right?
Yes, these are.
Okay. And that's because we learned that it's easier, right? And it feels better for people to have just their own space.
Yeah, for sure. Because right now, sometimes when we pair up people, this is the first time they've ever met that individual.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's
that
like college.
Yeah. And that's not the natural part of like life for a lot of us. We don't usually move in with somebody we don't know.
Right.
And sometimes it works out great and sometimes not so much. And obviously, because not everybody's compatible.
Yeah.
So the idea of having your own space and being able to move in, having these, units, I think will clear some of that stuff
Well, and
up.
they're small. Having been the director of sales for a large development company, they're small and they make a lot of sense. So everybody has the things that they need, but then there's communal spaces outside too, so that you can't. I guess you could isolate, but you can't really isolate. You got to go, do your laundry do they have laundry in them?
Yeah, they have their own laundry
Okay.
in each one, but they'll be able to go out and there's a community, area, hangout area with couches and on every floor.
Similar to what you have now in the buildings that are.
No, so we only have that in one building.
Okay.
The other buildings all kind of go outside.
That's the one that I think I've been in.
Yeah.
I got a head pat there from one of your residents.
Yes, I did too.
You get a lot of head pats.
Yep.
I was having like the worst morning driving my kids around and like had to drop something off to Rose. And I walked in and got this like head pat. And then on the way out, I got a hug. And I was like, I'm just going to walk in there every day and like drop off a donut or something. This is the best way to start your day, man.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I got the best job in Grand Haven.
It was so good.
It is.
So the 77 units, what's like a rent?
Yeah.
Or I guess the other 50 or whatever we have. What's a normal rent for one of these one bedrooms?
Yeah. Right now, it's going to range because there's an affordable housing, project. So from around 550 all the way up to around 1100.
Okay.
So there's a range.
Is that like an income based?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yep. So there's a lot that goes into this project, and I think a lot of people just think, oh, we're building a building, but we're doing much more than that, right? And so we're addressing affordable housing. We are addressing this need for support for individuals with intellectual disabilities. And all of that takes like a lot of planning, and man, it's amazing what our partners are able to juggle for us who are helping with all this.
Yeah, those are fantastic humans.
Yeah, so when we come up with like some of these things that are like little hiccups or challenges, I'm like, of course we have them. Like we are putting something together that honestly nobody else in the area has done, and this is all fresh and new, and we're coming up with ways. So it's pretty awesome. I love this process. But anyways, so there's a range, and it's based off of income. We haven't worked out exactly, who's going to go where, and all that stuff yet.
Doing a community land trust project, I mean, we had almost 400 calls for 33 houses or something. I mean, it was just bananas. And only 16 of those were actually, a true community land trust project. So there's so many things that go into it once you get into grants and income-based housing and, whether people are receiving money from Social Security or all kinds of, I can't even imagine the vetting that, goes through all of that. And the saying no was the worst thing in it for me.
Yeah.
I had real estate agents that were angry that we were only offering 1% commission. And these were people that, like, what are you going to sell them for $139,000?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? I'm going to write the contract. I'm going to hand over the keys. I'm going to do absolutely everything. You don't even really have a client right now because there's no housing to put people into. That was like mind-boggling to me. Like, this one's not about us, guys. This is about other people and making sure that we can provide something for a few people when really there's many, many more people out there. What's that like? What's the what is the need really like? What's the wait list like?
So right now, without advertising,
Yeah.
we're around 50 on a wait list. We will go out and you'll start to see billboards pop up, in Holland, Grand Haven, Muskegon, Grand Rapids. The need is huge. Like I said, that one event was 100 different families that were just from the Holland Zealand area.
Yeah.
That showed up there. Maybe some from this area as well. Some of those people ended up on our wait list at that meeting. But when you think about moving one person in, it really changes a lot. It's not just the one person who gets their place and live independently for the first time. Now mom and dad are getting to live independently as well.
Oh, yeah, the caregivers.
Yeah. And that will change. Like, I was just thinking like the domino effect on some of this stuff. So, right now, like if for me, we have to maintain the house that we have if Matthew decides to live with us. But if Matthew moves out, my wife I can sell the house that we have right now and move into, a smaller unit. And then that house becomes available. So the ripple effect of this is more than just the one individual moving in. And the impact is more than just the one individual. Yes, they get to reach their dreams, but so do mom and dad. So do the sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles and everybody rooting for this person. This is going to impact them too. So it's just a huge project in that scope of how many people this is really going to affect. It's amazing.
I love that. Well, I don't love the part that we need more. I mean, hopefully this is a replicable model. I know that probably just makes you be like, let me just get through this one right now before anything. But I can see that in the future of this. And I do think it's really cool just being, I guess at this point I can call myself a philanthropist. It's really cool to be able to see it, like to stand in something that you were a part of, or sit on a bench or like witness that you did good with the treasure that you were given from God, that you actually have benefited someone else in a way. So I mean, I would tell anybody, please, consider inside of your giving, looking at this model and what it does to provide independence to people who I believe would otherwise have real barriers to getting there. Consider coming to the event on May 1. It's a fantastic way to be able to learn. There's also a lot of video out there that you guys have done a great job with explaining, but this is one of my favorite charities to give to solely because I can immediately see the impact in, I mean, at this point, you'd be able to stand in it too. I mean, I think that part is just a really neat, you don't really give your money to, some places and you have really no idea where it went.
Yeah, and it's a long-lasting impact. Like the people that move in with us, we have some people move in and realize, okay, they're not ready yet, and they move out. But the majority of people that move in stay.
Yeah.
And so this is an impact that's going to change a life, and you'll be able to see that. I mean, they're going to stay in the area, they're going to be a part of this community, and it's long-lasting.
How easy is it to get employment opportunities for your clients?
Yeah, it's challenging sometimes.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, but sometimes it isn't, sometimes it isn't. It all just depends on the individual. But yeah, finding long-lasting employment, and our people love working, and they love giving back. They love volunteering.
So that's another thing that people listening today could think about. Is there an opportunity to make space inside of an organization that you're working in for people, to have that employment piece figured out?
Such an important part. Like I'll speak on my son.
Yeah.
So he's gone through, he's been working for a few years now. He loves working. He's got a great work ethic. But he was working in places where it was, and I'm grateful for people giving the opportunity. It was like, here, go do this over there. He's by himself.
Yeah.
He found a place where he's able to serve residents at a retirement community.
Awesome.
He comes home and he goes, Dad, I've never felt this good about myself.
Oh, I love that.
He said, one of the residents said, she's watched me blossom. He goes, I've never heard that word before when they were talking. And he goes, I feel so, he literally was like, that word made me feel so good. And he loves going to work and he loves visiting the people. And he's so good at it because he's got one of the our people have huge hearts,
Yeah.
And he has one of the biggest hearts. So imagine seeing him every day, bring your food to you. Hey, big old smile, loves to see you, loves to, show you that he cares for you. And he's great at it. And he needed a little bit of assistance in the beginning.
Sure.
But
But who doesn't when they start a new job?
yeah, exactly.
I needed assistance like last week, and I've been doing this 20 years.
Same.
So
Yeah.
I ask for help all the time. Can you show me how to do this in a better way or in a way where it hurts less?
Yeah. But he's perfect for the job. And now he has so much self-worth.
Yeah.
And he struggled with that. He struggled finding that because he was watching other people, have different opportunities than him. He's
Right.
very much aware of that. He's not oblivious to the differences. And so now to have someone take a chance with him, give that initial investment in the beginning, he's got it down now. And he's one of the most reliable workers they have because he loves showing up. It means everything to him.
Yeah. And God bless the woman who said that to him,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
We were on spring break, we were at a restaurant called Square Grouper in fantastic restaurant in Key West, but we were watching a gentleman train food runners.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband noticed it first, and I was listening to it too. And the way that he was leading and the way that he was speaking to people and how he was matter of fact, but also kind and complimentary. And hey, next time maybe this could look like this, or we'd be more efficient if it was this way. John mentioned it to me, and he's like, I love watching this guy. And I'm like, I'm totally listening to him too. But I then went up and said, hey, listen, like my husband and I are both entrepreneurs. We've been listening to you. You're the best part of our meal. Like watching you do all of this in the way that you've shown up, this was the best part of our meal. And he was so lovely. He was like, thank you so much. And then gave me the namaste. But I think how many times do we have an opportunity to say something and we like say it to our spouse or we say it to our kid, like, wow, that lady was really kind or that was great service or whatever. Let's say it to the human where it might actually matter.
Yeah.
I love that it changed him and like blossomed.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I've kind of removed like my filter, like my professional filter.
Yeah.
And if I feel a nudge, like I'm going to go act on it. I'm going to tell somebody.
Same, yeah.
Like, and that is so, we need more of that.
I think so. My kids call me the town crazy lady because I'm constantly like complimenting somebody's babies or, their shoes or whatever's going on. But I figure as much darkness as there is, we need even more light. So why not? If they think I'm a wackadoodle, like that's fine.
I know.
I'm totally cool with that.
So am I. Yeah.
At this point, it doesn't matter to me. But I feel like the Holy Spirit is, go say something to this person, hold that door, go do this. I just want to say thank you because having been in this nonprofit space and worked with you a little bit at Love in Action and knowing a lot of executive directors, this job is hard. And I always say, if you draw attention, you're going to draw attack.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, in communities, I think where we're fighting for equity when we really shouldn't have to, there's always this side of, we were talking about it before this, but like those people. And it makes me sad to see the disconnect or the divide between a parent who has been a caregiver for, all of these years, or like what you just said about your son, like he recognizes that he doesn't have the same opportunities as other people have, but he also is aware that there are things that he can do and he wants to be valued. I just want to say thank you for staying in that fight, in doing what you can in order to elicit change.
Yeah. It's hard for me to even like receive that. I appreciate that. But I feel like I'm the luckiest person.
Yeah.
Because I get to see change in people's lives. And when something was once thought of impossible, now is possible. Like there's nothing else I'd rather do, than to be able to see people and be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like I'm the luckiest individual, really. And this is going to sound cheesy. It's not a sales pitch. I want people to come and learn about Gracious Grounds so they can feel blessed.
Right. Yeah. That's what happened to me.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm hogging all of the blessing by being able to like rub shoulders with these amazing people. And so it's not that hard because every day somebody walks in my office
right,
and they share a smile and a story about what they're overcoming. and I'm thinking about the project, or I'm thinking about all these other things that you have to think about when you're doing this. And all of a sudden it's not as heavy anymore. And I'm like, okay, like, buck up, buddy. Like, get up.
Well,
And
that's why you're the right person for the job, right? Like, I mean, because you can see all of the good in it and, kind of bat away the things that are more complicated or difficult from tarnishing what you're really after, and, your laser focus. Even the challenges that we've had through this development process and all of that. I mean, our conversations have all been, okay, let's be prayerful. There's 3 different ways that this could go. It'll sort one way or another. The faith piece is obviously a huge driver inside of this. And I don't know that I know any EDs that don't have a faith piece, because I do think that's part of what helps us understand that we're not in control. And even though this is hard, but I mean, you could be a rage monster. There've been a couple things that have been a little weird, where you want to be like, seriously, you won't help me?
Yeah.
Like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. And I want to say that I've witnessed you go through with grace and compassion and kindness, and you should receive that. You have no choice. I'm ladling it on you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else that we should know about Gracious Grounds before we wrap it up and we see all of these amazing listeners at the May 1 gala?
Yeah, it would be so helpful if you're feeling nudged, just take the action. Go to, graciousgrounds.org.
Yeah.
Buy the ticket today. And right now, with the way things are in the world and the markets and all that, like, we're not seeing the same numbers as before.
Yep.
And I really, I think you'll end up on the receiving end if you go.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I learned this when I was marginally forced to do Dancing with the Local Stars. I have like 6,000 Facebook friends, and I asked everybody just to give $5 or $10. Everybody has $5 or $10. Everybody probably has $20 that's listening to this right now. So, I mean, why not forego that, 2 days of Starbucks and whatever snacky snack you buy on the way out or whatever, and throw that into the space? We were able to raise, tens and tens and tens and tens and tens. I think it was over $100,000 in that way. It's not, oh, well, I don't have enough money to buy a component bench, or I don't have $5,000, or I don't have this. It's really a whole bunch of people doing a little bit make a massive impact in a situation like this. So please, if you feel called, go learn more about the initiative that is right now, and then the prolonged need inside of this space too, and give whatever it is that you can give. And there's also volunteer opportunities there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the ability to be able to give money and you want to do some time, that's not a good way to say that, is it? If you want to give some time, you can certainly, do that too. Craft projects and all kinds of different things are going on there all the time, right?
All the time.
Drivers.
Yeah, drivers, projects. We do exercise. We do everything. We know how to get together.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's a very fun environment over there. And now I am friends with at least 6 or 7 people so I'll just like pop into a Walgreens, and I have all of these new friends from being inside of that space too. So thank you for everything you do for the community.
Yeah, you too.
And thank you for doing this with me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I'll see you on May 1.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks. Megan Heritage with the Positivity and Practice podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers. If you could help us get there, we'd really appreciate it. So like this and share. We'll see you next time.